Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the 2024 East Coast Yacht Sales Summit. I'm sorry I'm not able to be there with you personally today, but in light of recent events, we felt like, out of an abundance of caution, it was a really good idea for me to come to you from an undisclosed location. So, security's been adequate. We've swept the perimeter. We feel like we're in good shape, so it's safe for me to give you the IYBA update. And what's up with IYBA? We're at 2,058 members, an all-time high. Fortunately, we're up from the last time I spoke to everybody at the, I think I was at the annual dinner. We were just a little over 2,000, and we're continuing on an upward trend. So membership is as good as it's ever been, and it continues to get better. The products that we're offering do seem to be pushing our membership, and also, more and more people in the industry are recognizing the need and the value to be a member of IYBA and utilize the services that we bring to the membership. In light of membership increases, of course, that brings revenues. And the financials are an important part of what's going on with IYBA. We are in good condition right now. Last year, at the close of the year, we were at $2,250,000 in income and $147,000 in expenses. So we were net $93,000 to the positive. That made Jeff Stanley happy. The year has started off where we've been pretty good. Our expenses are up significantly because of professional services that we've had to engage. So unfortunately, I do have a little bad news for you. Today's lunch will be bologna on white bread with mustard. For those of you that have chosen the vegetarian option, no bologna, just white bread and mustard. But you can have an apple with your lunch. So we're doing the best we can to stay in good financial condition for you. And that's one of the ways we've decided to do a little cost cutting. No, in reality, revenues are good, expenses are up, but fortunately we've been good stewards over the past several years, and we are in good stead and able to weather, for now, the storm that we're trying to navigate through. I'm not going to get into what's going on with the legal challenges. You're going to hear from Bill Bleckman. Bill is a senior partner at Kenny Knockwalder. They're the antitrust attorneys that are doing a really great job of guiding our defense. We'll defend ourselves vigorously with their guidance. So I'll let him give you the update on that. With regard to other updates, Chapter 326. We've been talking for a long time about our work in Tallahassee. We had Senate Bill 92 and House Bill 95 in the last legislative session. They were passed. The governor has signed it into law. So we have now modified Chapter 326 of the Yacht and Shipbrokers Act. What does that mean for us as licensed yacht brokers in the state of Florida? There are four basic takeaways for what has happened as a result of the modification to Chapter 326. You have already heard this morning, I think, from Melanie Griffin, Secretary of the DBPR. We have a great working relationship with the DBPR, and we do wonderful things together to make sure that the processes under which you are regulated move along smoothly. But the four big takeaways from the change in the legislation is, number one, we've removed the upper limit on the size of the boats. So now we echo the same language used in federal law, and that is vessels intended for recreational or pleasure use. Even if they're charter vessels, the ultimate beneficial use of the boat is for recreation. So we've removed the 300 gross ton limit, and it's now recreational vessels. Second big change is that we now allow brokers from outside of the state of Florida to enter Florida and act as a broker in expectation of compensation. But in order for them to do a deal in the state of Florida, they must do that deal in its entirety with a licensed Florida broker. Meaning, a guy from Michigan can't just come rolling in here and list a boat, but if a broker from Michigan has a bona fide client and you have a boat listed in Florida, you're no longer faced with the challenge of What do I do? How do I honor my fiduciary responsibility to my client and bring him an offer with a guy who's not licensed in the state of Florida? Now you have the ability to transact business with that non-Florida licensed broker, as long as that deal is done in its entirety with you as a Florida broker. Third thing in the change is the ability to go from a salesperson to a broker. Now you have to do 2 years, mark the days off of the calendar, 730 days later, you qualify as a broker. You don't have to list anything, you don't have to sell anything, you've just passed time. Now with the legislative change, what happens is you must prove that you've been actively engaged in the deals, 4 deals from beginning to end, or you have gained 20 CEUs. What are CEUs? They're certified education units. So the lawyers in the room today are able to gain CEUs by attending this event because we bring forward quality educational content. We will work with the DBPR to determine exactly how people will qualify for those CEUs. That's one of those things that the legislators pass and then they leave the department to figure out how to make it all work. The last piece of the puzzle is no convicted felons. If you've been convicted of a felony, it's going to be much more difficult to become a yacht broker. Yeah, I know, I guess probably half of us have just now left the room, but actually it's okay. It's convicted, not just guilty of. Now, realistically, prior to this change, if you were a convicted felon, you could still get a yacht broker's license. Now, I'm sure it will be subject to review, but the basis in the law is that no convicted felons will be able to get yacht brokers' licenses. So those are the updates to Chapter 326. They take effect October 1st. Look to Compass Magazine for more information on that. There will be more detail. I do want to thank Ellen Bogdanoff from Becker Law. Ellen was a great help to us. She was our lobbyist up in Tallahassee, and she's the one who helped us push this legislation through. It took us 3 years, took us quite a lot of money. Thank you to the companies that stepped up and said, we believe in what you're doing, and donated to the PAC. If you're a company that still believes in what we do and did not donate to the PAC still exists, and we would sure love to replace some of the money in the coffers. So please feel free to make donations to the PAC if you choose to. You can check with any of our staff members and they'll be happy to instruct you on how to do that. So updates on other things. Planning session. The board of directors each year does do a planning session. For many, many years, we did an afternoon half day at the Florida Yacht Club usually, and we would spend 4 or 5 hours figuring out what we were going to do in the next year. With over 2,000 members, with all of the products and services that we offer to our membership these days, it takes a lot more planning. It takes a lot more thought. It takes a lot more strategy to be able to deliver to you high quality services. So our planning session took place at the end of June. Most all of our board members were able to make it, and we spent 2 days engaged in talks about what have we been doing, what were our plans before, where have we gotten with our strategic goals, and what are our new strategic goals going forward. You'll see some more mention of that in Compass Magazine as well, but suffice it to say, yes, the antitrust issue is something that we were advised on by the attorneys, and we talked about what impact that could possibly have on us. But we also talked about the products and services that we offer to IYBA and how we're doing that. So those being important considerations, the digital suite of services is something that we've worked really hard on over the last couple of years. Yachtbroker.org still remains the only industry-owned MLS. It's your warehouse. It is your secure database where right now there are almost 14,000 boats in inventory. So it's your place to go to input inventory on the boats, inventory of the boats. All the data, all the pictures, all the descriptions, because what that does is it feeds to the public-facing, lead-generating marketplace called Yachter. Yachter is our public-facing product that is doing a great job of getting out in front of the public. You've been able to see boats as a member of the public on yachtbroker.org up until recently. We did what's called a 301 redirect. Yachter is now the public face. And what we've done is we've completely changed the UI, which is the user interface. When you look at a website, your experience or your user experience is what's critically important and what keeps people on the website. So we've revamped the UI or the UX, and then what we did is we had SEO experts completely analyze the revamped UI UX. That report is coming to us actually today, Wednesday. We'll have that report in hand, and what it does is it doesn't tell us what we're doing right, doesn't matter what we're doing right. It tells us anything and everything we're doing wrong and details how to fix that. We've got great tech support with Garrett, with Vessel Portal Management. We've got a really, really great partnership with him in building the products that we've built for you. This is another outside service who's putting a jaundiced eye view on everything that we're doing and helping us to make it better. So you'll see more improvements. You'll see more ability for your listings to get out in front of the public. So I strongly encourage you, if you're not fully engaged with yachtbroker.org, feeding Yachter for your public-facing portal to your listings getting out to generate leads, please put your boats in yachtbroker.org. Unless you don't want them on Yachter, that's where they're going to go. You control your data, that controls your destiny. I've been talking about it for several years. Please use the services we've built for you. They're to your benefit. So what's the third leg of the stool? What's the important thing that we need to dovetail into these services to help you? Boat Docs, your document processing system. You've heard me talk about it several times over the last several years. Yachtbroker.org and Yachter need to be complemented by a document processing system. You now have the ability to transact your deals in a secure platform from listing to closing. I've talked about it before. We've had some controls that were outside of our purview by integrating third-party platforms for digital signing of documents. When we recognized that that control wasn't a good idea to be outside, your board chose to make the investment and we brought it in-house. So we've got a secure, proprietary e-signing platform that's incorporated into Boat Docs. So you now have the three legs of the stool, everything you need to be successful in your business and not be dependent on private enterprise to bring you the solutions that you need to be successful. You've got your warehouse, you've got your public-facing lead generating marketplace, and you've got the ability to process all your documents. If you have any questions about them, please feel free to ask. Yachtbroker.org, get Garrett at yachtbroker.org or info at Yachter. Please get on board. Other digital services, you've heard me talk about Yacht Broker Institute. About a year and a half ago, we purchased Yacht Broker Institute because we felt like it was a good idea to bring that in-house to where we could offer to people who want to enter into the industry or to up their game a certification or a structured learning environment. We were very fortunate to be able to tap someone with a great deal of experience. John Strader, if you're in the back of the room, John, stand up and wave your hand if you will. John's been instrumental in our complete review of Yacht Broker Institute. We'll be rolling that product back out within the next 30 days. It's got a whole fresh look, a new fresh website. You've got the ability to train new brokers and train administrative assistants. There are two different tracks or courses in Yacht Broker Institute. That will also play well into the ability to receive CEUs or get training to be in compliance with the new mandates under Chapter 326. Our digital services and Yacht Broker Institute work hand in hand, and we'll be training people up to use all of those. Other things that are going on, other things that are important at IYBA today, the European chapter. We've invested a lot of time and energy in gaining traction in Europe. We just completed a great seminar in Antibes with MIBA called the IYBA Summit. It was well attended. The educational content was outstanding, just like the educational content is here today for the East Coast Yacht Sales Summit. Our relationship deepens and broadens with other associations around the world. MIBA being the primary one in Europe, IYBA here in the United States, along with Northwest Yacht Brokers, California, Ontario, and British Columbia. So our relationships are going quite well with the other associations, and everybody has the same goal, to maintain professional standards and provide enhanced professionalism and consumer protection. That's really all I have for today. I would be remiss if I didn't take a moment to thank everybody. First, maybe I should correct a couple of things that I said earlier in the day. Continuing education units. Every once in a while I have a little senior moment. And we never have a planning session at the Florida Yacht Club. It's always at the Lauderdale Yacht Club. But in thanks, first and foremost, our staff is what makes everything happen here at IYBA. We're really, really fortunate to have Kevin and Wendy Dobson, Saida Puerta, Alex Moeller, Lois Henderson, and Elise Taylor, who has just recently joined us. A great team, a great crew that complements me wonderfully in our trying to get things done for the association. Of course, always through the guidance of our board. Immediate past president is Bob Saxon. He's your Master of Ceremonies here today. Your current president is Grant Henderson. Vice president is Trevor Carroll. Treasurer is Jeff Stanley, and secretary is Gary Smith. Your board members at large are James Courts, Chuck Cashman, Carmine Galati, Cole Watkins, Andy Miles, and Mike Scalisi. So you've got 11 guys working hard for you. When you see them, take a moment and thank them. And when you see the ladies and staff at IYBA, make sure to thank them. They're doing everything they can to help you and help us to enhance professionalism and enhance consumer protections. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.